Now, sometimes I sit down and I think about things, and one of the things, uh, one of the things is like, I look at a lot of media online, as a lot of people do, right? And I pick up some of these posts every now and then, especially on Instagram, because that's where I be. And I be on Instagram and Reddit a lot, and I see this post of this woman, right? And she's talking about her son. She goes into her son's room, who's apparently like a teenager. She doesn't exactly like say how old he is, but he might be like somewhere in the range of like 13 to 16 years old, right? And she finds like a sex toy in there that he's been using, and it's like a small it's like a small vagina or something like that, like a little plastic one. I really don't do sex toys, anything like that. But like she goes in and she's talking about like she's basically like dogging him out, but like in a very disrespectful way. Like first of all, like I don't give a fuck that she's in there in her son's room looking at stuff. I mean, I kind of do to an extent, but because privacy is a thing that a child should be able to have to some degree, right? And if you find some shit like that, maybe have a talk with him about it, but don't fucking sit here with your phone and and talk bad about your son and then post that shit on your fucking Instagram. Like that right there. Like this whole posting shit about, now you can post some words of wisdom about parenting, but don't post no personal shit about nothing that you or especially your fucking child is going through. Like that child is at the age where sexual exploration is a thing that happens, that is natural. And for her to sit there and be talking about like, oh, you know what I'm saying, my son with his little dick and this little small ass vagina, whatever the fuck she was saying, I'm just like, yo, and she was like laughing and shit and posted this shit on social media. Like, do you realize how fucking like fucked that is for that child? First of all, and not even to the point of him having a sex toy or something like that, but firstly, their home should be a fucking place of haven for him. He is a black, and she was black too, which made it way worse for me, right? As a black man, you will likely not have a haven in this world like your parents' home for the rest of your life. Think about that. Until you get your own home, and a lot of people is not getting homes young no more, you are not going to have a place of haven like your parents' home for damn near for most of your fucking life. Because black men don't have havens like that. And she's sitting here dogging him out and invading what little privacy he does have, and basically desecrating the haven. Like that's not a haven for him anymore. That he's not going to be able to, at that point, he's not going to be able to go to his mother for anything because this kind of shit happens. She's posting his fucking personal business on social media where any motherfucking body and they mama can see this shit. That's not a haven for him anymore. And it's fucked up out here, and people be talking about all this shit about like, so I had a white girlfriend for a while, and a lot of the shit she used to be nervous about is like bullshit. But then she'll be talking about like, you don't understand about being nervous outside. And I'm like, excuse the fuck out of you. I'm a black man in the South. Like, it's nervous for me going outside during the daytime. It's not just nighttime for me. It's daytime, nighttime, any motherfucking time, especially if I see a goddamn police officer. If I don't see a police officer, if I just see a white person, or even to that fact, if I get into an altercation with another black person and somebody called the fucking cops or some shit, I'm scared because I'm a black man. And people out here fucking talk all of this shit about all black men is this and all black men is that, and at the same time they online, these same bitches online putting their fucking sons out there and not being a haven for their black fucking sons so that they black men can grow up to be all of this bullshit that they always be talking about. Like it baffles my fucking mind that all of these women, and a lot of these women that talk shit, as that I see, especially like on social media, and they be out there talking shit too. A lot of these women on social media that talk shit have sons. They have sons out there that they'll sit here and you know they be talking shit around their fucking son. So now the son is fucking internalizing all of this bullshit that she doesn't like seeing in a man, and he's internalizing this as just men ain't shit. And now he's gonna grow up with that fucking mindset because his mother did not take the time to be a fucking haven for him instead of talking shit about. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of single mothers out there in the black community. The black community and the black home has been broken for a long time in this fucking country, and nobody talks about that shit. And nobody talks about the reason why black men, especially, and men of minority, and not it's not just black men, it's like men of like minorities and shit too. The reason why they are the way they are is because, especially in minority communities, nobody is being a haven for our black men that are growing up. Why should we shame a child for like masturbating and shit like that? They are discovering their sexuality, and on top of that, if you go look at I think it might have been Cambridge. Cambridge had research papers, and it said that, and they went through and did testing on a lot of like they did a whole bunch of different questionnaires and stuff like that, and there was a correlation in um comfort level in talking about this kind of stuff with their parents, and basically like sexual growth. And it says that like when you as a parent shame your kid about this kind of stuff, they grow up with a lot of baggage attached to sex, and these are people that typically go off and they aren't like sex is shameful for them or sex is painful for them, and it's not fulfilling, and basically like that whole part of their life is fucked up because you got a mother right here putting her son's fucking business out online. But like when parents are comfortable talking with their children about this kind of thing, and when the kids are comfortable talking to their parents about this, they have a much better time with it as they grow up, as they become adults. And like when you do that kind of stuff, and they when they did that research, uh they found out that basically I forgot the exact thing, but they had found out basically like a kid that has that shame attached to sex at a young age, especially like in the teen years, whenever they go through that explorative period, that never that there really isn't any amount of therapy or anything that can really like completely resolve that. Like that basically will fuck them up for life. Like especially when you're doing something to like a teenager or something like that. Like and when you talk about psychology though, psychology is not a thing that's really talked about in the black community like that for real, or communities of minority altogether. Like in general, they fucking have all this shit like machismo or fucking all of this, and like Asian people, yo, it's crazy over there. Like they don't talk about like emotions or psychology very much at all. Like they'll just let a nigga sit in the house by himself for like 15 years and wonder why the fuck he's in a corner of a room, hanging somewhere. Like it's crazy that and psychology and the psychology of this motherfucker that put her son out there. She's fucking her kid for life. Like for the rest of his life, he's gonna have that shame tied to. And then the worst part about it, it's not just that she went to her friends and said that shit. She went online. So like this dude is not even gonna be able to really if people find out who he is, he's not even gonna really be able to function online to a large degree. Like it's crazy. And you say, well, you just fucking ignore it and go on and shit like that. But he's not at an age. That kid is not at an age where that's a thing that you can really say. He's too young to really have the mental fortitude to be able to go through something like that. Because of his fucking mother, his dumbass mother. Like, yes, she's a fucking dumbass and a bitch, and I'm gonna call her every motherfucking thing. I'm gonna call her every motherfucking thing I can because she is right there. That's another black man that's fucking lost before he even gets a chance to really get a good start, right? Like, it's so fucking disgusting to me when parents are doing, and you see this shit online a lot more now. Like when the internet was really first coming out, first being mainstream in like the early 90s and shit, like you didn't see this kind of shit. But then again, though, there really was not as much social media, or at least parents weren't really on social media because there was social media back then and shit. But it wasn't like it is today, and it wasn't as connected as it is today. And back then, because of how fractured the internet was, it wasn't as like things didn't go viral, right? But this is the kind of thing that can blow the fuck up and get like millions of fucking views. And now this motherfucker, like his business is out there. Like this kid's business is out there, and this motherfucking bitch of a fucking parent has done this. And now, you know, when something crazy happens, like the kid runs away or gets lost in drugs or commits suicide, she's gonna be wondering what the fuck happened, right? But that's the kind of shit that causes that. When parents aren't mindful of how they fucking like, you don't put your kids' business out there. Period. Don't do it. Do not do it under any fucking circumstances. If your kid's business gets out there because of like some shit that happened in the news or in the newspaper or whatever the fuck, that's one thing. Like, but again, don't, like, if your kid's business is out there, don't fucking put no goddamn gasoline on the fire. Try to fucking douse that shit. Fucking take care of your fucking kids and be a haven for them. Cause like that haven right there is probably one of the, like, seriously, it's probably the only haven, especially as a black man or a black boy. Like that's the only haven that kid is probably ever gonna have. And and that lady has fucked that up for him. Like, and it's so crazy to me, like in the black community, it's just, well, you know, he under my motherfucking roof, my motherfucking rules. Like, I understand that, but like, push off a little bit, give him some space, and give him a little bit of fucking privacy. Like, they understand that you pay the bills, but also, motherfucker, you had the kid. The kid did not ask to be born. Like, that is your responsibility. And do not fucking treat your kids like a burden. Don't treat your fucking kids like a burden. You're the one that had to, whatever, if you had a mistake or whatever the fuck, and you wasn't paying attention or whatever it is, that was on you. That was your fucking responsibility, not your kids. Because your kids wasn't even fucking born yet before you fucked up and, you know what I'm saying, went off with whoever the fuck bullshit ass nigga, and he ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? And you decided to fucking without a condom or not get the fucking morning after pill just to fucking be safe or whatever the fuck might have happened. That's on you. And even if it was a situation that you didn't really have no fucking control over, don't treat the kid like a burden. Cause like that right there, treating the kid like a burden, right? As they pick up on that shit. They fucking know. If you always fucking too tired because you working and shit, and you always talking crazy to them because of your fucking exhaustion or whatever, or whatever the case might be, like, don't treat your kids like a burden, because they know that shit, and they will grow up thinking that they're a burden, and they will always grow and as an adult, when you get into adulthood, when you've been raised like that, those are the kinds of people that don't fucking make a lot of friends. Because, again, they think they're a fucking burden on people because of your fucking dumb ass. Take care of your fucking kids. Take care of your fucking kids and be a haven for them.